Welcome. Welcome everybody to part 2, which is our training course about Oracle licensing contracts. Great. Nice to see some names I haven't seen before, or some of them I've seen before. Some of you are new. Hello everybody. Let's start in 3 minutes. I think that's good. So we wait for people to connect and everything, and maybe you want to have a cup of coffee or water before we start. So it's actually in Europe, in many countries, it's actually a public holiday. So someone sent me an email asking that, are you aware that it's a public holiday in all of these countries today? And well, I wasn't really paying attention to that, but I felt like, hey, I told Morten there might be not many people coming today, so I'm a bit surprised in a positive way that we have 128 people on. So we want to try something new before we start here. Is anyone actually interested in trying to come up on video with us and just share a few words why you are attending today? Because you have an option here to just sort of get someone else up here. So if anyone is interested, it would be nice. No requirements at all. Hello, Miles. So I guess nobody's really interested in getting up on a video with us then and saying a few words. Yeah, stage fright, but you get used to it after a while. You know, I don't really care anymore, but early on I was like very cautious about it. And I'm actually not a very extrovert person. I'm a very introvert person in real life. Bad hair day, that's good. So before we get online, you know, I fix my hair a bit because we work from home, so you're not really office ready at every time. So let's start here. So if anyone is new to this platform, let's start by just testing out a few polls here. We're just a bit curious too, what area do you work in? On the right-hand side, you should see polls. So we have people some in IT, most people are in licensing, some people in sourcing. So we have 160 people on here, and I can see around 40 people have found the polling section, which is to the right. Okay, great. And for anyone who's new, you're free to write in the chat here. If you see that me and Morten are saying anything that you believe is incorrect, you can comment on that. Or if someone is asking, you can help, have a conversation among yourselves. That's fine. If you want to have any specific question, the best option is to use the one to the right here. There's a question tab, and we're going to answer all your questions here when we have time. Hopefully, it will be done by Morten when I'm talking, and when Morten is talking, he will be answering questions. And it seems like we have around 90 people who found this polling to the right, and most people are in licensing. Okay, that's good. Let's just do no more polls, so let's start. So this is a beginner course. I've tried to learn a bit about IBM licensing myself. There was someone who was running a course about IBM licensing, and yeah, it was good, but it's very difficult to really understand what is important and what is not. Oracle contracts can be 50 pages, and it's difficult to really understand what is important in the contracts. So we are sort of going to start from you can look at the contract from sort of a legal point of view, but we're going to start by looking at the contracts from a license management perspective. What is important when you are signing contracts? What's important from Oracle's point of view? What could sort of be the compliance issues with Oracle contracts? First, you see this button here. I recommend that you all mute this sound from the chat if it's not muted already, because otherwise you will hear notifications from the chat whenever someone is writing. We might get questions already about the replay. So if you want to watch the replay, you can just go into the same link as you did now, and the replay is there. The platform also sends out an email with a link to the replay. So you don't need to request a link to the replay. You can just go back into the replay. If you do want to have the slides, please, or I will make it easy. I will just send it out to everybody afterwards so you can have the slide deck. So let's start by how do you actually buy Oracle software? Most of Oracle's business is done directly, so it's by engaging with an Oracle sales rep, and Oracle have different sales reps for different products. So if you want to buy an Oracle database, you need to sort of contact Oracle. You might be an Oracle applications customer and you might not have a contact name. So usually what you can do is you simply contact Oracle and say, we're looking at this product. Who is it at Oracle I should be talking about to find out more? Most business with Oracle is actually done directly. And this is probably my own theory that why so very few people actually know much about Oracle contracts. Very few people actually know much about Oracle discounting. Very few people know much how Oracle is actually dealing with their customers. And sort of the end result is that there's very little knowledge in the sort of channel market when it comes to Oracle licensing and contracts. If you just compare that to other software vendors such as Microsoft, which has done, I think more or less 100% is done for partners. And if the partner is done transacting the Oracle contract, they will also learn more about the Microsoft agreement. But Oracle is doing this directly, and this is sort of makes Oracle sort of a mysterious software vendor to figure out. But Oracle likes to keep it like that. They like to not involve partners if they don't have to, because when it comes to Oracle does not have a kickback system like the Microsoft have, where it's basically the partner is transacting the Microsoft enterprise agreement or whatever, and then Microsoft is actually paying the partner in the back end. Oracle does not do that. So this is one of the reasons why Oracle likes to do directly business with customers. You can buy actually Oracle from resellers. So Oracle do have thousands of partners worldwide. Most often, the resellers of Oracle software that we come across is not the Software Ones or the Insight or the Crayons of the world. It's actually usually technology partners. So it could be a company that is providing consulting services, and they sort of mix the license sales with the consulting. Just very good to know, if you go to a reseller, they always have 30% discount on Oracle software, which is very good because sometimes you might be in a conflict with Oracle and a customer, and then you can just advise the customer, or if you are the customer, you can just say you will always have a 30% discount from a partner, no matter what. Obviously, the partner might want to keep some margin for themselves, but just very good to know it's a 30% discount. If you want to have more discount than that, you can actually get that from the partner as well, but then you need to do some negotiation with Oracle, and then you can buy it through a partner. I think the only really benefit of buying from a partner, as I see it, is that you can get some payment terms, because Oracle doesn't really want to do anything when it comes to the payment terms. They want to have a 30-day net, but the partner, you can have sort of whatever partners the payment terms you have. Oracle do have a web shop. It's very rare. I've seen some companies buying a few Oracle Database Standard Edition, some other small type of software. I don't recommend anyone to use Oracle Web Shop because you do not have the ability to change anything in the licensing agreement. So it will be a purely standard Oracle licensing agreement, and it will be limited to the country where you're buying Oracle software. So for example, if you're a UK-based company, you cannot go to the web shop and buy licenses for your subsidiary in South Africa. It doesn't work because the standard licensing terms will only give you the right to deploy Oracle software in the UK. So I don't recommend anyone to go there. Maybe if you sort of want to buy something that costs a few $100s or something, yes, maybe you can look at it there, but do not buy anything from the web shop. So there's a question here. Which is the best? So Kasim, you're asking a question here. What is the best to go directly from a reseller or Oracle? It depends on when you're buying. Let's imagine that you have an audit from Oracle, and Oracle is saying, hey, if you don't accept my offer now, you have to buy these licenses to cover the shortfall, and you're going to get 0% or 10%. But you can disregard that, because you know you will always have the option to go to a reseller and buy a 30% discount. A reseller can be very good if it's very important for you to have longer payment terms or less vendors. But if you want to have the very customized agreement, let's say ULAs or very complex negotiations, you have to deal with Oracle, because often the resellers do not have much expertise when it comes to Oracle contracts. Or I used to work at a reseller, and it was one of the largest in the world, and I had absolutely no idea about Oracle licensing or contracts. So sort of if you're sort of a serious company, I would just go directly to Oracle. But there are some use cases for partners. I hope that answered the questions. So when you look at Oracle customer contracts, you have an Oracle ordering document. And in this Oracle ordering document, we're going to have a look at the real Oracle ordering document today. So we can sort of take this theory knowledge that we are sharing, and let's look at the real contract so you can see how it looks. But the Oracle ordering document will tell you what are the products that you have purchased. It will tell you the quantities. It will tell you the licensing metrics. And it will sort of tell you the specific terms for those licenses. And I just sort of want to mention here some very basic thing is that with Oracle, if you are getting a new license agreement for every new purchase you made. So with Microsoft, I guess you have a Microsoft EA agreement, and it covers most of your licenses, if not everything. But with Oracle, a small Oracle customer might have 5 to 10 different Oracle ordering documents, and that is really the licensing agreement. But bigger companies might have hundreds or even thousands of different Oracle ordering documents, because every time you buy one more processor license or every time you make a purchase, there will be a new Oracle ordering document. And what this means is that you might have different terms. Let's say you have only WebLogic licenses from Oracle, and you might have purchased them at different times during the 10 years, you're going to have different terms. There might be limitations in some of the contracts. Some contracts might not have limitations. There's going to be a different pricing and discounting. So you're going to look at the contract and you're going to say, hey, this time we had a 20% discount. Another time we had a 70% discount. So, and then you can sort of evaluate, okay, then you should be asking yourself, why was it so highly discounted? And if it's highly discounted, I often try to look in the specific Oracle ordering document. Is there sort of any limitations in the contract? Did Oracle agree to this very high discount because they said it can only be used for limited use for one application, for example, which is fairly common? So this is the most important contract that you should have. If let's say that you have an Oracle master agreement, which sounds like a very, very important contract, and it is, but from a license management perspective, I want to see the Oracle ordering document. That is the most important thing, because usually it is in the Oracle ordering document you will find favorable licensing terms, because Oracle do give a lot of companies different sort of favorable licensing terms that can allow you to license Oracle software in a way that is not standard. The Oracle ordering document will also contain limitations. So let's say when we hear the phrase contract compliance or contract gotchas, for example, that will be in the Oracle ordering document. And that is really when you're buying something from Oracle, it is really the Oracle ordering document that is sort of, from a license management perspective, that is the most important thing. And it will also sort of, if you're in the commercial, it will also tell you what is the discount, for example. We're going to talk about the Oracle master agreement as well. But just want to mention something. The Oracle master agreement is more broadly about indemnification, the Oracle audit clause, and it doesn't really say anything about the specific licensing terms. And if you have any doubts about, let's say there's something in the Oracle ordering document and that differs from the Oracle master agreement, it is the Oracle ordering document that have supersedes. So you have to look at the Oracle ordering document for what is actually correct. And then Oracle, in these contracts, in these both contracts, there will be lots of things where Oracle is simply saying, if you sign our contract, you are accepting our policies. And the policies are not in the contract. Oracle is simply including a dynamic URL, while Oracle have the right to, whenever they want, update their policies. So in reality, you're signing an Oracle ordering document. It has a few dynamic URLs to Oracle's website, but the services that you're accepting at the time might completely change over time as well. And a lot of so if you look at if you go to, let's say, to support policies, I think I was in there today, but it was like 50 pages or something. So and it's a way, it's sort of what that makes is a lot of companies are buying Oracle software. They're just looking at the Oracle ordering document and Oracle master agreement, of course, but they're not really reading these policies. And it's the support policies, for example, that contains a sort of a lot of lock-ins that prevents you from ever terminating unused licenses, and you might be ending up paying maintenance for licenses in the future that you no longer need. So, just to mention, there are some specific contracts, and this is really not for if you're an end user. These contracts are for companies that are developing their own IP and selling that IP to end customers. So there's a specific contract called ASFU contract. And so if you're working at the partner, or if your company is a software developer and you are selling your application, and then you're also distributing an Oracle technology or software in any kind, you go to Oracle and say, we would like to have the right to distribute your software, Oracle, along with our software package. Can you give us an agreement for that? And obviously it's favorable discounts, and it's a way for Oracle to sort of have more business and more partners. But application specific use is one contract, and if you have which is more specific for certain applications, not that uncommon. ESL contract is an embedded contract. It's sort of a royalty. I think the best way to explain that is Oracle might have a Java or a database inside of a phone or a TV or something like this. That is embedded, and those each contract have different limitations. If you're an end customer, you don't really need to worry about this. But the most important thing in both ASFU and ESL, from a license management perspective, is that you as an end customer, if you bought something that is ASFU or embedded from an application vendor, you are not responsible for being compliant. Oracle have no right to audit those environments. They should sort of be excluded from your sort of day-to-day tasks if you're managing licenses. And because if Oracle wants to review those environments, they have to contact the application vendor who sold you that license and that application. And they have to do an audit of all environments. So what that happens is that Oracle does not do a lot of sort of these audits. But if they would find that you are actually non-compliant in any way, it is actually the partner that is liable and need to make that right with Oracle. It is not you. So it's a very good way if you're, let's say that you don't have a lot of Oracle at all, and you don't want to manage Oracle licenses, you might not have the knowledge, or you think that it's very difficult, you should go with an ASFU contract if the application vendor has it, because then it's the application vendor that is responsible for compliance. I think it's pretty good sometimes. Just something to be aware that Oracle sometimes, it's usually the sales and the commercial organization that might be asking about your environments. Just be clear that they have no right to ask about that environment. If they have any questions, they need to go to the application vendor. And that is important because these application specific or embedded, they don't always have the normal licensing rules. They could be, let's say, they could be licensed on a completely separate licensing metric. It could be a royalty base, which is based on the application vendor's price list. So they could have made a deal with Oracle saying that if we can distribute Oracle Enterprise Edition, we get the 2% of your price list, for example. And then you don't need to count processors and name user plus. So it's just very important to make sure that you exclude that from Oracle. Proprietary application hosting is if you want to build up a software as a service solution, then that's a completely new contract. And these contracts does not in any way look the same as an Oracle ordering document, which is for the full use customers. So before I move, any questions on this? Okay. So what do you buy? You don't buy, it's not like you're buying a server here. You're buying the right to license Oracle software. It's rights granted. And which is why it's so important to look at what's inside of the Oracle, what's in the Oracle contract. You typically buy a perpetual license. It's 1 to 5 years, and then you have, it's always at the first time you buy a 1 year support. You can actually buy 3 years if you want to commit to that upfront. But I don't really see that there's any good reasons for doing that. And also be aware that you negotiate new license terms and pricing with every purchase. So it's sort of, you don't sort of have, hey, we got 40% in the past, we're always going to get 40%, or this customer have or you as a company have 40,000 employees, you're going to get this discount. There's nothing like that with Oracle. It's really a random figure, which is based on how well your IT procurement, or how well, if you're actually negotiating with Oracle yourself as a software asset manager, it is how well you're negotiating with Oracle. And typically, we're going to talk about that. I think it's session 8, how you do that in a good way. But it's just simply to be aware of, you might have hundreds of different agreements, all have different terms. There might be some sort of limited use in some contracts. Some contracts might have favorables, which is, I think, the companies that are really serious about Oracle license services and management, they start with reviewing the contracts. Because I sort of come across way too many who simply focus, what is my SAM tool telling me, or they are simply counting the number of processors, or simply counting the number of users, and then they are not taking into account what's actually in the licensing agreement. And Oracle takes that very seriously. So how much does Oracle software cost? Maybe Morten want to just put that in the chat here, a link to our price, to Oracle's price list. And it's quite interesting to view. Are you sharing it, Morten? Okay, good. And it's in dollars, and in many countries there's a sort of a localized price list. Oracle is pretty quick in adjusting the price list, so so you can't really go and say, hey, we want to buy in another country and get a better price. Yeah, here it is. And this is actually a very good way. If you're working with Oracle licensing, I would recommend that you're actually saving this sort of bookmark it or whatever. It's a very good tool, because you can find useful information, and it also helps you to evaluate risk. So I often get a question like, oh, VirtualBox, is that important? I have an email from Oracle, someone in India saying that I need to buy this. And I say, hey, but look at the price list for this product. You should not, you should put your focus on the products that are actually causing the financial risk. So focus really on the products that are very expensive, because if you have a large Oracle estate, you're going to look at, hey, we just did on the license inventory or with an inventory tool, and you have lots of different, products, for example. And I would recommend, hey, have a look at the Oracle technology price list and say, okay, well, this enterprise edition, if you're looking at it now, it's $47,500 per processor. And remember from the first session, it is actually a core-based licensing. So if we would just simply have 8 cores of enterprise edition, that will be 8 cores multiplied by 0.5 for Intel. That's 4 CPU licenses, and we are talking about 4 multiplied by 47,500. And it's, you can, if you click on the link, you can see it's a license price 47,500, but it's also the annual maintenance, which is 22% on it. So it's quite expensive, and that sort of allows you to sort of focus on the right things, because you're going to see all these kind of products if you do a scan of your network from Oracle. Focus on what is actually expensive and sort of work, have a list of priorities. So someone is asking here, so I might as well, no, I'm not going to share. So yeah, so what you pay 47,500, that is a perpetual license, and then you only buy that one time. But every year down on the right-hand side, you can see Enterprise Edition, and then on the column to the right, you can see software update, license, and support. So that's going to be another $10,450 every year that you will renew. So we're going to talk about that in a later stage, but most customers are simply having support on everything they have from Oracle. And so it's quite expensive, and that's sort of my recommendation of this. Just focus on which products that are actually cost a lot of money for your company. Something to be aware of when you're looking at the Oracle ordering document. Remember Oracle ordering document? That's the document that you sign every time you're buying something from Oracle. Sometimes Oracle hide the discount. They just simply don't show the discount there. But then if you want to evaluate if your contract is good or not, you can sort of go to this price list and sort of count backwards to sort of assess what was the price that I received from Oracle at that time. So it's pretty pointless, but Oracle internally, they have sort of something sometimes, hey, let's hide the discount here, because they don't want you to expect to get the same discount the next time you're buying, for example. Because if you're used to having a 40% discount, then suddenly Oracle is giving a 60% discount, they are hoping that you're not going to be smart enough to look at the Oracle technology price list and figure out the discount and demand that in the future as well. Yeah, as we know, partners, resellers always have 30%, sometimes a bit more if the volume is higher. And discounts from Oracle, usually anything from 20 to 70%. That's sort of a good ball range. I've seen 99% discount. I've seen 0% discount. So, which agreements do you sign when you buy from Oracle? So everybody signs the Oracle ordering document. And for cloud, we're not talking about cloud today, but Oracle sort of have the same structure there as well. It's a cloud ordering document for every order that you make. And you sign an Oracle master agreement, but that is only signed one time, and then it's usually valid for up to 5 years. Previously, Oracle called this OLSA, online licenses, online or Oracle licensing services agreement. And these agreements are usually not that negotiated. I think the most negotiated is probably the audit clause in the OMA. So here's a price list for you who didn't click on the link. I recommend that just bookmark it. It's a really useful tool, because at the bottom of the page you can also find some useful information. So if you're scanning your network, you see you have an Oracle product. Hey, if you see the product here, you can sort of figure out, okay, can this cause a lot of risk for me at my company? And then you should maybe try to focus on that. Sometimes if you're doing an inventory, you don't figure out the name. Sometimes you can just help by Googling that name, and then you're sort of going to figure out. Oracle is keep on renaming their product, right? But if you Google it, you're probably going to find out what's the new product name for that product. So here we have a question. Which agreements will you need to sign when purchasing Oracle software? So let's use the polls. A, ordering document. B, OMA. C, both. So I think these questions are really good, because it sort of helps me clarify a few things. So you will all, if you are, let's say that you have not an active OMA, if you have not purchased Oracle before, or you haven't purchased Oracle in a few years, you will need to sign both agreements. But if you purchase Oracle software 2018, and you sign an Oracle ordering document in 2018, and you sign an Oracle mastering agreement, if you then now in 2020 want to buy more, you only need to sign an Oracle ordering document. So the answer should really be C here, but I hope that sort of clarified it. What does Oracle contract OMA stand for? Should be easy, right? A, Oracle licensing agreement, and B, Oracle master agreement. Yeah, exactly, it's B. I think we talked about this more, we should have removed it. It was too easy, I think. So, okay. So in which contract can you find out about licensing metrics and quantities? A, Oracle master agreement, B, Oracle ordering document. That's good. So yeah, exactly. It is in this one, in the Oracle ordering document. This is the most important document that you should have in most cases, actually. Quantities, what products, metrics, good licensing terms, bad licensing terms, it's in this document. So you would not, there's a question here, you would only not need to sign up if there's, no, so Emmanuel, you always need to have an active OMA in place. So typically, I think it's 3 or 5 years. I forgot what it was now, but it's typically valid. And then Oracle might make, so for example, Oracle made changes to their audit clause last year, where they suddenly say that you need to run Oracle audit tools when Oracle is doing an audit. But that is only valid for companies that need to sign an Oracle OMA. So if you actually have an Oracle OMA that was signed before Oracle made this change, you do not have this audit clause. So you only need to sign it when it is expiring or has expired and you're making a new purchase. So just some summary here. Remember, companies can have hundreds of different licensing agreements. And typically a very common mistake that we see is that companies think that a support renewal is a licensing agreement. And this is for large and small customers alike. If you want to start doing this licensing review, check with finance, check with procurement, check in your archives. Do we actually have a copy of the Oracle ordering document? If you do not have such a copy of the Oracle ordering document, you can request it from Oracle. And the best person to request that from is, there's usually a name on the annual support renewal that Oracle is issuing to you. So I usually recommend that you reach out to her or him and say, hey, these CSIs that we have here listed on our support renewal, can you please send us a digital copy of the Oracle ordering document? And then you can have them. It usually takes some time, so it can take up to 2 to 4 weeks sometimes to get them. So, but I recommend anyone to do that. And there's some myth out there saying that if you request a copy of the Oracle ordering document, that you will get audited by Oracle, but that's never going to happen. So remember, you can have WebLogic licenses on 10 different contracts which have different licensing terms, or only one have different licensing terms. So unless you've actually seen the contract itself, you don't know if you're compliant or not. So just be aware of that. If you, for some reason, cannot find the Oracle ordering document, you might just, hey, we've tried everything, Oracle is not coming back with anything. Then I usually just assume this is, we can assume that this is a standard license, and then just to make an asterisk of that is that there's sort of uncertainty about that, because it actually happens that Oracle don't have the original ordering document because they have been lost. So when I was working at Oracle, that it's not extremely unusual that actually Oracle loses the Oracle ordering document. And then the only thing that can be reviewed is sort of the standard terms, which is it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing for companies that have this. But also be aware that Oracle are changing their licensing rules over time. So that's why something you need to look at, when did you buy the Oracle software, because you have to look at the licensing rules at that time. And just as a general rule, Oracle's contracts are open for interpretation. So they're vague, which is very good. Sort of, don't always, just because Oracle have an opinion, doesn't mean that they are correct. you simply need to understand we are living in the software licensing world where there's very often not black and white, and with Oracle it's a lot of gray areas, and there's quite a few sort of disputes between Oracle and its customers. So I was part of that, and Oracle sometimes try to push the customer, we are right, you have a compliance issue here, we're reviewing the contracts. But if you get the expertise or sort of the knowledge about Oracle contracts and understand that you can actually, if they are vague, you can actually interpret the contract in your favor, not in Oracle's favor. So what is in the Oracle Master Agreement? Well, it's general terms. It's the audit clause, for example, is in here. You see something about hardware, and Oracle will ask you to, if you buy software, they will ask you to sign everything really. So they are like, it's difficult for companies that, let's say you're not an Oracle customer, you just want to buy something. Oracle wants you to sign the Oracle Master Agreement, and you have to review 50 or 70 pages of contracts. So software, which is our focus for today, cloud services, we see an uptick in this actually. So it's sort of, if I will be honest, we have, when it comes to software licensing, we've seen literally thousands of different companies' contracts, both working at Oracle and then leaving Oracle. When it comes to cloud services, we haven't seen thousands actually, and so we are still in this learning process. And I guess when we feel enough comfortable that we know everything about it, we might include this in the training for the cloud. But I can just say with the cloud services, it is not that much differences actually, and the ordering document for cloud is far more simpler than the licensing agreement or for licenses. And then we have Schedule L, which is VM. The OMA contains general terms for purchase for both software and programs, hardware and cloud services. The OMA contains contract terms. So it's a key sentence here in this one is that you can use the Oracle software strictly for your internal business purposes. So you cannot use it for external business purposes. Something that's compared to SAP, which have this indirect usage, but with Oracle, you may allow your agents and contractors to use the Oracle software, including sort of suppliers, for example. If let's say that you run Oracle ERP, for example, which sort of most companies license their production with CPU licensing. So you're sort of covering that external usage, which other vendors such as SAP, I guess, have a problem with. So it's quite actually, Oracle has got a lot of heat from some of their licensing policies, but when it comes to this area, Oracle is sort of allowing external people that is working with your company to access and use Oracle software. Simply if you have a processor license, but you cannot set up software as a service, for example, with your full use licenses and build a software as a service solution for 10 other companies, and you're hosting that. That is not allowed. And you can argue strictly internal business purposes. Is it allowed to? Oracle is not really looking at that clause that much, but you can argue what does that actually mean? And if you go back to how Oracle contracts may be vague. What is not allowed? It is not allowed to share licenses with another company. And it is not allowed to use for external business, building SaaS for external companies. And there's a question here. What if you're using Oracle software while working for third-party services on you? Yeah, that's okay, as long as you're using it, as long as you have a license for that, you're providing services. Typically, let's say that you're a developer and you're connecting to your own database that runs on Oracle database. As long as your company bought an Oracle database, it should be it. So there's a question here from someone. How is licensing done? Do you want to elaborate on that? Okay, I will move on. What else is in the Oracle Master Agreement? It provides you with trial rights, so you can try Oracle software. And try Oracle software means you installing it on your PC, for example. If you would like to sort of have extended trial possibilities, it can be up to 90 days, for example, you need to go to Oracle and negotiate that right in the OMA. It is not in there by standard. The Oracle technical support policies are linked from the Oracle Master Agreement. The Oracle Master Agreement also includes how the Oracle technical support, remember the maintenance that you renew every year, it will be increased every year as well. So it is 4% annual increase, and it can be a lot of money in the end, which many companies now are facing, that Oracle maintenance is increasing 4% every year. But in the OMA, if you sort of want to talk to Oracle about that, where does Oracle have the right to increase their maintenance costs? That would be in the Oracle Master Agreement. And these are also the technical support policies. If maybe Martin want to share a link to the Oracle OMA in the chat here. In these support policies, there's basically the vendor lock-ins, which basically means that you cannot terminate unused licenses and terminate support. So there's a few questions here. Does the OMA has any influence on the OTN license? No, they do not. It's a completely separate document. The OTN license is usually signed by partners that want to have the right to freely develop their own. If you're developing a lot of in-house applications that you're selling to third-party providers, you accept an OTN license, and usually for partners. So yeah, we're going to talk about it a bit later, but basically here, when it comes to this 4% maintenance here, when you're buying Oracle software the first time, you can, many companies are actually nowadays sort of putting a cap here. So we don't want to have a 4% increase. They might put a cap on 0% for 2 years, and then the following years there's a 2% cap. So this is something you can negotiate on. You can also negotiate older maintenance contracts. So not only when you're buying something new. So let's say that you have 2 million euros in maintenance fees every year, and you can say, hey, 2 million, it's going to be, it's that like 80,000 increase. You might actually go to Oracle and say, hey, can we have a 0% increase? And they often agree to that if you're smart in how you approach Oracle. The audit clause is as well in the Oracle Master Agreement. It describes who is doing it, when, and how. And let's have a look at this audit clause here. So I hope everybody can read here. It says here, upon 45 days of written notice. So it means that you don't have to reply to the audit letter straight away. You can wait. Oracle may audit your use of operating system, integrated software options. You agree to cooperate with Oracle Audit and provide reasonable assistance and access to information. So without going into too many details today, because we have a specific session on this, reasonable assistance, you can sort of interpret a bit how you would like, how much you're actually going to cooperate with Oracle. And remember what I said about Oracle contracts. They are vague. And by actually getting some confidence in your knowledge about Oracle contracts, you need to understand Oracle contract, and you can use that to sort of argue your own position. So there's a question here, what percentage of Oracle audits are conducted by third party? So I think a lot of smaller audits, so Oracle have engaged a few sort of, I call them software resellers really, because that's what they are. It's a company called 7-8. They're probably the biggest one, and Oracle has sort of a bigger agreement with them, where 7-8 is being basically what Oracle is doing. Hey, we send out an audit letter to 200 companies around the world. Usually they were smaller companies, and they say in this audit letter that 7-8 will be conducting the audit on behalf of Oracle. And what happens is that 7-8 will be doing the audit, and Oracle is supporting them in the background with analysis and all of that. And if there's any, and Oracle is not paying 7-8. So all the money that is being made is 7-8 is simply making money by software reselling. So and that's not really a good audit partner, where okay, you have no interest in you being compliant, and they're going to have a very strong view that you're not compliant. And what we often see is that as soon as 7-8 established that there's no license cap at this customer, they're not really keen on closing the audit because they don't want to spend any more time on it. So it's very difficult to do percentage, but bigger customers and mid-sized customers, I think probably smaller customers, Oracle probably outsourced a big chunk of that, probably outsourced 70%. Mid-size and large customers, Oracle is probably doing 90% of them. I don't think they're outsourcing anything to third party. Just be aware, Deloitte, KPMG, I think we have some people from those firms. They are not doing audits on behalf of Oracle. So it's not like we're IBM, and I think it's a bit, Aaron, I think you're at SAP, right? Or you're working with SAP. And actually what's happened, it's the same here. Oracle have their audits in-house, right? So they don't do, Oracle is a bit of the same as SAP. They don't go with KPMG or Deloitte or anyone else to do the audits. It's mostly done in-house. In the past few years, they sort of expanded this small, medium customer audits, where they're auditing a lot of customers that have, very few Oracle licenses. Just to be aware, it says here, any audit shall not unreasonably interfere with your business operations. So again, if you go back to, Oracle contracts vague, how can we interpret this in our favor? So it sounds, any audit shall not unreasonably interfere with your normal business operations. So I could argue in the COVID-19, you can basically say, hey, we are too busy now in this current climate. There's no way you can audit us. So it's use your knowledge that Oracle's contracts are vague and make a case for your position. You agreed to pay within 30 days of written notification any fees if you're not compliant. So we're going to go into detail a bit more about that. I forgot which session it is, but we're basically dedicating 1 or 2 sessions completely to Oracle license audits. So Oracle are often not willing to negotiate OMA, but they're far more likely to negotiate license terms per order. A large Oracle customer may have hundreds of Oracle ordering documents, and they might have 10 to 20 different OMAs or OLSAs. And you might be actually a company, if you're buying software from subsidiary level, parent level, you might have multiple OMAs or valid. So, there's a discussion to be had, should you just buy on the parent level so you only have one OMA so you don't have multiple? But that's sort of contract optimization. Just to be aware, you can allow contract and outsourcers to use your Oracle software as long as the agents, which means that they've signed a contract with you. There's a big difference here. When it comes to, so this OMA, Oracle usually likes to treat this as, when companies are buying Oracle software, many times you focus too much on the discounting, and that Oracle and your IT procurement are negotiating the specific discounts. And that's usually, hey, we don't want to pay more, Oracle don't want to give you better discount. What happens is that process of negotiating discount takes too long. So suddenly you're in, and there's a week left until Oracle's sort of financial year is ending. They just say, hey, here's the discount that we agreed. And then finally, you just see the Oracle OMA or the Oracle ordering document. So it's just something, sometimes it's not intentional from Oracle. It is probably because the Oracle account manager is not really, they don't have any long-term future with you. They're basically just a transactional company. So what you can do about this is that ask for a copy of the OMA or the Oracle ordering document, so that while you are negotiating price at the same time, that you're actually redlining the Oracle ordering document and the OMA, so that when you have agreed on the price, you send them to Oracle, hey, we would like to make these changes here, as well as the discount that we agreed on. If you do not have an active OMA, do not sign one. Yeah, exactly. So be very careful about, let's say that you are an Oracle customer, you have software from Oracle, but for some reason you have not purchased Oracle software in a few years or shorter time, and the OMA has basically expired. I don't say, hey, just because you want to buy some licenses for $3,000, don't sign an Oracle OMA. Just be careful before you sign, because we've seen that too many times where someone is saying, we just need to buy these few licenses, and then you end up signing an OMA as well without really doing a proper review of that. I recommend that if you identify some language in your OMA that you want to change, you can actually try to negotiate that with Oracle the next purchase. Just a good rule with Oracle is that the more money you have to spend, the more you can negotiate with Oracle. If you're looking at buying something from Oracle for less than $100,000, they're probably not willing to do anything on their OMA at all. How do most companies buy Oracle software? A poll question, so people are keeping awake. Morten? Okay, good. So how do most companies buy Oracle software? A, reseller, or B, direct from Oracle, or C, Oracle Web Shop? So this might be obviously based on your own experience, but us working at Oracle for almost a decade, and what we can see now, the right answer is B. Most companies actually buy it directly from Oracle. Not very many buy it from resellers. It might be that if you are working at a reseller, you might think, hey, we're buying from a reseller. That's not the case. Then you're not seeing I think we have a bigger picture here. The right answer is B, directly from Oracle. If the discounts on the Oracle, let's say Oracle ordering documents are hidden, how can you find out the real discount? A, you can ask Oracle. B, look at the public price list and count sort of backwards or reverse it. C, it is impossible. Well, yeah, I guess you can always ask Oracle, and they're often willing to tell you that. The reason why they're hiding in there is because some of the business practices people at Oracle sort of say, hey, yeah, we want to hide the discount. But usually the sales rep is often willing to share that with you. You can say, hey, you can tell Oracle and say, I can look at the price list, or you might as well tell me, what is the real discount. But if you don't talk to Oracle, the correct answer is B, look at the public list and count backwards. What does the standard audit clause say about 45 days? A, that you must start the audit within 45 days, that you must acknowledge the audit letter within 45 days. C, that the audit must be completed within 45 days. So I think someone pressed C here. So hopefully that was a misclick or something, because the audit does not need to be completed within 45 days. Absolutely not. And then we can see here, well, most people are actually answering B, and that is actually the correct answer, because they only give you a 45-day notice period, and you just on day 45 you can just reply to them, hey Oracle, we've seen the audit, and if you want to go ahead, there's no business interference. You just say tell Oracle, yeah, we got the audit letter, and then Oracle will tell you, let's have a meeting to kickstart the audit in 2 weeks, for example. So, and then this would be another 2 weeks. And so here, when the audit must be completed, so we have seen audits from Oracle that have taken years, 3 years to complete. So there's no rule about completing the audit within 45 days. You do not need to start the audit within 45 days, just simply acknowledge the letter. And if I'll sort of tell you sort of a secret here is that if you simply do not acknowledge the letter within 45 days, Oracle will simply send you a reminder. So you can sort of push that even further. It's not, if you don't reply, Oracle will not come and knock on your door. Nothing will really happen, except that they might send you a reminder. And usually if they send you a reminder on day 46, you can sort of make that as an interpretation that they're very keen on auditing you for a reason. While if they don't remind you at all, you might make the conclusion that they might simply not have a strong suspicion that you're non-compliant. How is the Oracle OMA locking in customers in future support costs? So A, it increases support cost every year by contractually agreed percentage. B, it increases support cost every year by a contractually agreed percentage and stops partial termination. So I didn't talk that much about that. So my apologies here, guys, if I wasn't really clear here. But so what Oracle have done is that if you go and buy software from Oracle, let's say that you buy 100 processors of standard edition, you will negotiate with Oracle a discount, and that discount will be applied both on the one-time license fee and on the annual maintenance. So if you achieve a 70% discount, that discount will be applied license fees and support fees. But if you buy 100 licenses, in Oracle support policies, there's a rule saying that if you reduce the quantities of the original order, the remaining licenses will be recalculated. Support price, maintenance will be recalculated at list price. So what this happens is that if you go in Oracle and buy something for 70% discount, 100 licenses, then 4 years later you want to terminate 30 of those, and you're expecting a 30% reduction in support maintenance, Oracle will say, no, look at our support policies. Yes, it increases by 4% every year, but there's also a clause saying that if you terminate support costs, if you terminate support, you're not going to get 70% discount anymore. It's going to be a list price. So basically what this happens is that companies don't save any money by making these partial terminations. So we're going to talk a bit more about that. What is the Oracle support fees? What are the Oracle support fees based on? A, list price for products or net license fees paid? So the correct answer here is net license fees paid. So the more discount you get on licenses, the more discount you get on the support maintenance every year. So the correct answer is B. If you get 70% discount on your licenses, you will get 70% discount on your support fees as well. So I'm gonna just have this for you to sort of have in the future, and you can sort of look over this, but it's sort of just a repetition of what I just talked about. And we're sharing this because you can use it yourself when you're working with Oracle. So as promised, can everyone see this contract? Okay, good. So it's not too small. Okay, great. So I'm personally a person who learns the best by actually looking at, it's fine to see a PowerPoint like this, but sometimes you need to see the, in real life. So in the US, they have, I always forget, they have something that allows us to see, or they need to publish different contracts, software contracts from vendors. So this is actually a real Oracle ordering document that you can find if you actually Google online. So you can see here it's Oracle US. The customer is State of Kansas. The contact name here, well, it's probably her name is Angela. So she bought Oracle, or it's probably pulled out of some system. Here you can see there's a reference to the, in this case, it was the OLSA, so it used to be called Oracle License and Services Agreement, which was OLSA, but now it's called OMA, which is Oracle Master Agreement. So if you, let's say that we are negotiating with Oracle something here, we need to look at this contract here to make sure, let's say we have an older OMA, we need to make sure that this older contract is being referenced here. So you're getting the terms from your Oracle master agreement. But in this case, you can see it here. Here it's, well, just some text here. It just says the fees are in what currency? It's US dollars. And you have ordered program licenses and 12 months of technical support services. Because remember, when you buy something from Oracle, you buy a one-time license fee, and then you pay 12 months of support. And what will happen in 12 months is that Oracle, well, usually in 10 months, they're going to send you a renewal quote, and they're going to expect you, hey, simply renew this support agreement. And here we see programs. I can't even see the program description and license type. So you can see Oracle Database Enterprise Edition. Remember the products. And if you find these products, sometimes you might see products that you have never really heard about before, and you're looking at the Oracle technology price list, and you can see that, hey, this is it might be an older contract. So Oracle don't have this product anymore. What do you do then? So you can try Google, or here's why it's important to have a network, right? So to figure out, if you have other people who work with Oracle licenses, reach out to them. Do you know which product that part of now? They're happy to give you an answer. You might reach out to me on LinkedIn, just send me a message. Do you know what product this is? Obviously, do your own research first, but it's just important to sort of have a network to sort of reach out to, because there's so much information about Oracle, and it's difficult to have it all. But here you can see the Oracle Database Enterprise Edition, processor perpetual, so it's a processor metric. Perpetual means it never expires. Here you can see quantities, how many of each. So they purchase 11 processors of Enterprise Edition. Here you can see the list fees paid. You might not see what it says, but it's $522,000. And here you can see it says discount, and it's 59% discount given to them. So they paid $214,000. This is the license, and then just simply below you can see support, update, and maintenance. And just to be clarified, support, update, and maintenance means that you have the right to contact Oracle for technical support. They will, able to release bug fixes for you or critical updates. And you also have the right to freely update. So let's say that you purchased this and it was Oracle 12, and you might have someone coming, hey, can we upgrade to Oracle 18? Does it cost any money? As long as you have an active support agreement, no, it's free of charge. It's included in this, or it's included in this one. Then you can see here Oracle Database Enterprise Edition. They purchased some named user perpetuals, and remember that the user-based licenses and perpetual forever. And you can see the purchase 35. Then we have real application clusters, processor perpetual. So that's a database option. And sometimes if you don't really know the product, and don't worry about, because I remember when I was learning Oracle licensing, I didn't know what all the products meant. Don't worry about that. You know, if you're curious about what is product, just Google the name. Just okay, is this some sort of security feature or whatever? It's quite, just take it step by step, and some things are going to stick in the future. And then we're going to see so here at the bottom, you can see Oracle program licenses fees. How much was the list fees totally? $1.5 million. And the overall discount, so they have a different discounting here. It was 56% discount. And this is the new maintenance that they will be paying probably every year. And here's the total fees paid. And here we come to commencement date. It says here, this is just standard text. I'm just going to say it's standard terms. You have the right to use Oracle software as soon as you sign the contract. You don't need to wait for Oracle to countersign, or basically they will countersign as soon as possible. But basically, you don't need to wait for Oracle to deliver some support identifier or anything like this. You can start using Oracle software immediately. And fees and invoicing, you're obliged to pay the funds. These are typically not really negotiated at all. Delivery, it's basically electronic, so you download Oracle software. They don't send you software on a disk. Source code, typically not really negotiated. Segmentation, it's part of that Oracle does not sort of mix their licensing and consulting. Something to do with revenue recognition, how Oracle want to have their accounting rules and how they recognize revenue. I think consulting is recognized in a much longer phase where you have to deliver something, while Oracle wants to sort of recognize all the revenue from the licensing ASAP. Order of precedence, Oracle says here that the Oracle ordering document has precedence over the OMA. It basically says, in the event of any inconsistencies between the agreement and this ordering document, this agreement shall take precedence. So customer references, you can see here, you can sort of, Oracle have, you can usually they don't really, you might get 5% more if you're willing to be a customer reference in discount. Territory is not where the users are sitting. This is where you're physically deploying Oracle software. And this is US only. So it means that they cannot deploy this Oracle software in Mexico, for example, or in Canada. Here, I'm not going to go into this, but here, all of these things here, you can see limited use programs. And it says here, the programs specified in section A, which was the previous sections, are limited use programs. These programs may only be used with your applications defined as PeopleSoft and for your financial management system. So what this is actually sort of a compliance risk, because they could have actually reviewed their licensing just looking at how you deployed it. And if they didn't really look in this agreement here, they might actually have started using Oracle software for something else a few years later. They negotiated a technical support cap here. It's actually here. So this means that the technical support cap is only for this order. You can actually negotiate a technical support cap in the OMA, which is going to cover all of these things. But this is not sort of an added term. And so here we have some others as well. So all of these four are not standard. These are not in the Oracle standard agreement. So this is a some sort of limitation. I don't really, it's sort of like Server Express COBOL for Unix, and it talks about how you can use it. And in order to really understand this, you have to maybe, even me, I might have to read it 10 times to actually understand what Oracle is meaning. And then Oracle might have a completely different opinion of that contract language than I have. And this is sort of, you know, the life in Oracle licensing world. Limited use, I always sort of, if you see limited use, it should be a red flag, because that's sort of a common phrase that Oracle uses for limited use. Technical support cap is a good thing. And this is also some other, it's also sort of a licensing limitation where you can become non-compliant here. They're describing something how you license Oracle software. And I think usually the best way of learning this is, but you might have, let's say you're working as a software asset manager and you take a look at all your contracts and you have 50 different contracts. It's quite easy to spot where are the differences, compare them. Are there any differences in one contract with another? And you might actually identify there's, hey, we have something in our contract here. We need to really pay attention and try to understand what it means here. Yeah. So just a review here of the contract we just reviewed. So they did not negotiate the customer definition. So customer definition is the contract term that specified which legal entities can access and use Oracle software. It only said state of Kansas. It might work out for state of Kansas very well, but typically if you are in a global company, you might have lots of subsidiaries or many companies across the world. You need to, Oracle have a contract term then that says customer definition. And that customer definition need to include all the legal entities that is part of your company group and will use Oracle software. It did only say US territory deployment rights. You should preferably have worldwide rights, so you have the ability to freely move your Oracle licenses across country borders. It has a limited use clause, can only be used for 2 applications. If you would use the Oracle software for a third application, you would be non-compliant. And so when I was working at Oracle, this is sort of one of the things that we could sort of, you know, really caught our eyes when working at Oracle, that we suspected companies to be non-compliant. Other is open for interpretation. They negotiated cap rate on support costs, made a saving here. And no sort of any good licensing terms was negotiated that gave them advantages. So sorry, Martin, I'm running over time here. But when is a good contract better than, you know, what is basically what is important for every company is very different. So if you look at this contract, let's say we have 2 different contracts. It has the same products. The contract have all majority-owned subsidiaries on the customer definition, which means that if one subsidiary don't need the licenses, you can then use them at another subsidiary. That is by the benefit of having a customer definition that includes all majority-owned subsidiaries. You have the worldwide usage on both contracts, which means that you can use them in different countries or country borders. And here, there's actually a bonus term which allows you to license, test, and development with 10 users instead of 25. And that is often giving you a license reduction of 60%. But here's what is different though. One contract have no new audit for 5 years, and it's at 40% discount. The other contract have 82% discount, and it's limited use for a specific application. So this is sort of a discussion to have. What is important to you? What is value for one company? It's not the same value for another. I would argue whoever made this contract is probably more focused about staying compliant and might be working the software asset management, while this one hey, we got a very good discount, but we didn't mention anything about audits, and it's a very limited use case, which sort of can cause a compliance issue in the future for you. So this could be done by an IT procurement who is just simply focused on getting the best possible price, or it could actually be been done by someone who just have a goal of getting the best possible price from Oracle. And that's something to take into account, that don't only look at the discount when you're reviewing an Oracle contract. What is the contract terms in them, and what is important to you? The value is not only in getting a good discount, it's also about getting a good contract as well. Which contract term tells me which legal entities can access and use Oracle software? Exactly. So customer definition, typically not in this state of Kansas contract, but it is typically just the first contract term that is on the Oracle ordering document below the product set. So it's going to be customer definition. And usually that's one of the first things I actually look at, is like, hey, customer definition, if it's not even there, if it's just this name, then it means that you might have just bought Oracle software on your IT services company, and in reality you cannot use them for anything else. It's not very uncommon that people have made this mistake. So the correct answer is A. Which are usually the limitation clauses in the Oracle contracts, or where are they? Is A in the Oracle Master Agreement other, or it's in the B Oracle ordering documents other? So limitations means that restriction in licensing. So let's say limited use for a specific application. So I probably did a bad job here. So the right answer is this one. So if you want to see anything from a licensing perspective, it is in the Oracle ordering documents. You're going to find both favorable licensing terms and any licensing term that can cause a compliance issue. It will be in the Oracle ordering documents. The Oracle OMA doesn't really deal with that. So it's in the Oracle ordering document. If you're doing a contractual compliance, or you want to review your contract, if you have any favorable licensing terms or bad licensing terms, it's in the Oracle ordering document and under other. Can I share Oracle licenses with other companies? A, no. B, yes, if they are an outsourcer. So the tricky question, but the right answer is no. You cannot share it with anyone else. But typically, if you have outsourced your Oracle environment, let's say you have a big outsourcer, it is you as an end customer that need to be properly licensed. It is not the responsibility of the outsourcer. If Oracle makes an audit, they will make an audit of you as a customer. However, you might have an agreement with the outsourcer about some compliance resolution, but from an Oracle point of view, you, end customer, can only use the licenses and need to purchase licenses as well. Can I construct or build a software as a service solution with Oracle licenses and offer it to external companies with full use licenses? So the correct answer is A, no, you cannot. If you want to build a software as a service solution, you need to have proprietary application hosting licenses. Different contract. It is not a full use contract. Before I move my Oracle licenses to a third-party cloud, which contract clause do I need to review? Customer definition, or is it B? So customer definition, we talked about which legal entities that can use Oracle software. But when we talk about territory, that is where you physically have deployed Oracle software. So exactly, and I think most people here are correct. The answer is B. Typically, if you move something from your own data centers to a cloud data center, you have to, where is this cloud, third-party cloud data center located? If that is located outside of your territory rights, you're going to be non-compliant. And from a licensing perspective, Oracle views two things: customer definition, territory. If you are non-compliant on any of those, you will expect to be paying money to Oracle. And then obviously if you're not following these other limited use or clauses. So this is sort of another guide document that you can sort of use. I'm going to send this out to everybody. Hopefully you all get it on the first email this time, but you can use it as sort of a guide if you want to start working with Oracle contracts. So Martin, sorry about that. We might take a 2-minute break.
It's all right, Fredrik.
Well, I did ask you, do you want to go first this time? And you actually said no. So.
Used to the latter part here. So yeah, you did give us or me a choice, right? Quite active on the chat, which is.
So can you articulate the difference? Yeah. So I might answer Scott's question here. Can you articulate the differences between ASFU and proprietary hosting license types? So ASFU licenses is, let's use SAP for an example. SAP have an ASFU contract with Oracle, which gives Oracle the right to, which gives SAP the right to, whenever they sell SAP software, they have the right to sell an Oracle database with them. So, and they're distributing that and making that sale along with SAP software. Proprietary application hosting licenses is if, let's say, SAP wants to build up their own hosted in SAP data centers, their own software as a service, SAP, and host that to multiple end customers. So ASFU license is only if ASFU is for every customer. So if SAP have 1,000 customers on ASFU licenses, every customer needs to have ASFU licenses. So they might have to have 4 CPUs or 6 CPUs or whatever. But with proprietary application hosting licenses, you can have 4 CPUs and it could be 10 customers sharing those licenses. You don't need to name which customers are sharing those licenses either. And I hope that was an answer. ASFU is every customer is buying its own license, and it's sort of hosted in their own data centers or whatever. Proprietary application hosting is you can have 2 licenses shared by multiple customers. And yeah. Ganesh, are the customers allowed to use Oracle or non-new licenses on during the ULA, Ganesh? You can use Oracle ULA software in the Oracle Cloud infrastructure. During the ULA, you can do that, but when you exit, or actually, well, it actually says third-party cloud, so you can actually use Oracle. Well, here it comes to the point where you need to have checked the territory clause of your ULA that is actually, if you're moving to Oracle Cloud Data Center, you need to make sure that the Cloud Data Center is within your territory of the contract term. And in the end, yeah, that's the question. Wow, Martin, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, no, I've been writing. It's almost like I'm getting cramps in my hands.
Okay, good.
Difficult to keep up. Sorry.
Yeah. So before we can start, can we get some feedback? Maybe, I mean, is this sort of a are we too basic or are we too advanced? Because we are often getting sort of we are realizing that many times we're maybe skipping over some things that are obvious for us but are not obvious to others. So if you can give some feedback, if we have a good level of the training, it would be really helpful. Okay, great. Oh, Morten, you have to turn off that sound, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, great. So, hi, Hasiati, I'm going to show you. Here's a link to this. We're good. I usually, when I talk to Morten, I usually say we need to have a training material that my dad could understand, right? I mean, he doesn't understand anything about this. Yeah. Okay.
Very good. I think we might as well get moving on the second part here. And Frederick is going to be active on the chat, so you know, you can just fire off a lot of questions. Hopefully, a lot of questions as I was dealing with them as during his first part. So please go ahead and make sure that he's not just sitting idle by. So we in this part of the section, we're going to talk a little bit about central and localized contracts. So what's the difference between buying on a HQ level versus on a subsidiary level? We're going to talk a little bit deeper in about support. So Frederick already sort of lifted the curtain on some of the difficulties that a lot of Oracle customers has with the support contracts, and we're going to just go into that and talk about what is actually sort of some of the dynamics behind that. And then we're going to talk about licensing assignments and migrations, because they are two sort of very important instruments in any sort of license management or any dealings with Oracle. That's two tools that you can use and often will be used or suggested to be used by Oracle. So we're going to have a view at that as well. But let's start out with the central versus localized contracts here. So when you buy on a corporate level, the clear advantage is, of course, that you can use it across all your subsidiaries, giving the fact or giving the, if you have made sure that you get the right customer definition. So the customer definition is again a very important part of your Oracle agreement, and making sure that in the customer definition that you have included all your subsidiaries. Yes, then of course you can whatever terms and conditions you're getting into your contracts and whatever products you have on that contracts is allowed to be used throughout your corporate structure. Now, if you buy on a subsidiary level, clearly the risk is that you end up missing out of some of these terms and conditions, or that the product that you actually are buying on a subsidiary level can only be used on that particular subsidiary. And with Oracle technology, that's a very common problem, because it has a tendency to sort of be the technology that glues all the other applications and systems you have together across your company. So eventually you can like all road leads to Rome. Well, all IT leads to an Oracle database. That is probably a good way to think about it, and that's why you want to make sure that everybody, all the subsidiaries, can use that database technology you might be procuring. So here we have a global company, and we buy Oracle technology in each country. Is that a good or bad thing? So here are some of the reasons why you should not buy on a subsidiary level. So first of all, greater risk for error in the license agreement. So there will be limitations basically across your enterprise, and that what we just talked about. Basically, you will have a lot of small pockets of technology that can only be used for a certain subsidiary or group of subsidiaries, and that can just be very, very difficult to manage. Another problem is, of course, that if you buy on a subsidiary level, you won't really have the negotiation powers that you typically have on a corporate level. So you won't be, the terms, the commercial terms, the conditions that you can negotiate just will not be as good as what is happening on a subsidiary level. And that is also pretty common, that you see that they don't get those well-structured commercial terms into the agreement. Now, you can have situation where if you buy on a subsidiary level, you can end up having customer relationship across many different countries. Now, that can be both a good and a bad thing, but in most cases, it is a difficult thing to handle. And then there is the fact that Oracle will get their audit rights in any of the local countries. So if you buy centrally, you won't be audited. You will be audited on the group level. But if you are buying out in the subsidiaries and there's no central management, well, basically you could potentially have 3 or 4 simultaneous running audits on a subsidiary level. So that I think could scare off quite a lot of people. So so these are some of the issues. So here's just a checklist again, and this is one of these things that we keep saying again and again, and keep reiterating because we see and we know from experience that these are the areas where we see clients have the most problems, and Oracle will eventually strike down on this. Eventually it will become a problem to you if you don't get these things right. So always remember to include all majority-owned subsidiaries in your customer definition. It is not given to you by default, and you can very easily end up, if you don't understand this, having just the usage rights for one single subsidiary. And then, of course, always have worldwide usage rights or territory usage rights. And these are the rights, basically, these are the rights to where you can deploy Oracle software. So this is the physical place where you can have your servers standing, running with Oracle software on it. And it's actually a very low-level approval. It's a sales rep level approval, and it should be worldwide as standard. There should be, unless there is a very particular reason why it shouldn't be worldwide, you should always get a worldwide territory usage rights. Then one thing that we often see is sort of clients are forgetting to do is actually negotiate the technical support rates. So per standard, Oracle has a 4% for most countries in the West anyways, a standard of 4% of a yearly uplift on their support. So 4% is applied year over year on your support, ongoing support. Now, you can negotiate this with Oracle, and you can successfully remove it for a number of years, or negotiate it down to maybe just 1%, or for the second year, go first year without any uplift, and then 1% for second year, or so forth. And in many cases, this is actually a very cost-effective way to get lower your Oracle support cost, because at the time of purchase, the Oracle sales rep is actually very happy to give this away for you, to you as a part of the negotiation, because it doesn't really cost the sales rep anything. They are not measured on this. It's a future problem for the support rep who's gonna be renewing your support. So they are happy to give this away. So a very, very easy way to cut cost. Then, of course, check for limited use. If there is any sort of, and this goes, of course, for any new contracts, but also if you have any existing contracts. So if there are any limitations, and you realize throughout your review of your inventory, your Oracle inventory, you need to sort of deal with it and perhaps remove that particular limitation. And how do you do that? Well, of course, if you're buying directly, then you remove it as you are procuring the licenses. However, if you are in a situation where the mistake has been made, then you can still change it. And there are a number of ways to change it, but you can, for example, and that's what we're gonna come into, you could, for example, do a migration, or you can do an assignment where you're moving around licenses, or you're upgrading the licenses. That's an opportunity for you to change the terms and conditions for those particular licenses. But you can also, if you are about to make a larger purchase with Oracle, let's say that you are looking to move something into the cloud, well, then you can take those terms and say, by the way, as a part of this deal, we also need to have a change on this particular contract. So it's good to sort of group them together. So buying locally, Oracle frame agreement. You can negotiate a frame agreement with Oracle, and this typically includes an OMA. So before the OMA was introduced, Oracle would have different types of frame agreements, especially with the larger customers. But today, most of these things are attached to the OMA. And here you can also sort of include your subsidiaries, and you can make sure that they get price holds included as a part of these, whatever purchases you make. So other subsidiaries within your corporate structure can go in and buy off of those price lists. And basically share the local terms. So that you can do actually from a frame agreement style contracts. However, typically if you get these style of agreements where subsidiaries has a local purchasing power, again, Oracle would go in and actually have the ability, they want to have the ability to audit you on a local level. Now that's, of course, is a trade-off. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the Oracle support renewals. And this is sort of, it's a hot topic, and there's a lot of Oracle customers who is looking to cut cost on their support renewals. And Oracle is very draconian in terms of protecting their support revenue. So, but let's start with some of the basics. So in Oracle, support is basically a back office function, and it's almost counterintuitive because it is really the support stream that is the backbone of Oracle. It's through that Oracle is sort of capable to make any acquisitions. It's a very, very important part of Oracle's revenue, and Oracle is very, very protective about it. However, the people who is actually managing the Oracle support stream, so the support renewals reps, they are a back office function in Oracle. And we see a tendency that they are, instead of being available in country to support the local Oracle customers, they're now being moved away and centered either in Romania or in India. So that's a part of how Oracle is optimizing their cost structure on their support teams. And this has been going on for a long time. It's you will see some of these support people, they are dealing with very high revenue streams compared to the local salespeople. So they can be in the several hundreds of millions, whereas the salespeople in the local countries will have a much lower sales target. So your local account manager, he doesn't care about your support. They are only compensated on new licenses and first-year support and any cloud sales. And cloud sales is even more important because they are better compensated than that. Basically, what Oracle has done is structured the commission plans that your sales rep has or your account managers has. So if they don't sell cloud, in practice, it's probably gonna mean that your account manager is not gonna meet his or her target. So Oracle is very, very much sort of driving everybody to make cloud deals. So, and that you probably see already when you meet your Oracle account manager. If you're in that position, they will probably be talking a lot by cloud. Now, I talked about how important Oracle support is. So Oracle has a very, very high margin on their support, and they keep getting better and better at making that margin even higher. And that's, of course, one of this reason why we see that local support people are turned to back office, and often they are basically working remotely from either Romania or India. So we talked a little bit also about the support, that it is a function of the net license paid. So it's 22% of that net license fee. And that means that the more discount you get on your licenses, the more discounts you get on your support. And we're going to go back, see, because that's sort of a little bit of a double-edged sword. It means that, of course, if you buy a chunk of licenses, that high discount might actually turn around and become a problem where it doesn't really make sense for you to cut off or terminate particular licenses on a specific ordering document. But we're going to see more about that later. So if you see the same products on different support contracts, it can mean two things, or it typically means that it's different contracts, but also that they probably gotten different discounts. So that's typically the reason why you would see them divided up. And And then a last thing, just as a comment to the support renewals reps, and just to give you an understanding of what they actually do. So if you want to negotiate your support, you cannot go that far with the support renewals team. High discounts on your support is just simply not something that they have a mandate to negotiate. So there needs to be other things in play before you can really get a sensible or a large discount on your running support. Otherwise, they're simply going to push you away. You can ask, but you probably won't get far with it. So here we're going to go through some of these policies that that Oracle has that makes it so very difficult, or makes, you know, for you to make a business case out of terminating or stopping your old support on your Oracle licenses. So Oracle has a couple of policies that they and definitions that they have, and one of them is matching service level. And this is an all or nothing type of policy, and it basically means that you need to have the same level of support across your product stack. So that means that if you're having database licenses, they don't allow you to mix supported database licenses with unsupported database licenses, because of course you're getting, if you're getting support, you need to get support for all of them. You can't just imagine if it was Amazon, which is a big Oracle customer, and they just buy support on one Oracle license, database license, but they have a million running out in their data centers. That doesn't really compute with Oracle. So that's the reason why you have this matching service level type policies. Now, when we talk about matching service levels, the fact that you can mix supported and unsupported licenses, it's also tied to something Oracle calls the license set definition. And that basically means that a license set is a group of products that share the same functionality. So that could be, for example, all the Oracle database products. So Oracle has a whole range of different database versions. So they have the standard edition, the personal edition, the standard edition 2, the enterprise edition, standard edition 1. There's a whole range of different database products. But this is considered a license set because basically these products are sharing the same binary codes. So these licenses within Oracle database, there you cannot mix with supported and unsupported. However, let's say that you have a contract and you have all kinds of database editions on that particular contract, and you have a WebLogic license, then you can actually run that one WebLogic license without support, without that actually affecting the database licenses. So what Oracle is doing, and Frederick sort of shared this with you. So when you go in and you buy your contract or your Oracle licenses, you want to negotiate a discount. And Oracle says, well, we have what we call a volume-based discount. That means basically the more you buy, the higher discount you get. And that's to some extent also the case, but that's the overall framing of this. And then the contract that they made with you at the beginning is that they say, well, we're going to honor your contract, and we're going to honor your purchase, and we're going to give you a very high discount on these licenses that you're looking to buy. So let's say that you're getting 70% discount on 100 database licenses. The second you go, let's say 3 or 4 years down the road, you realize, I only need 30 licenses, so I would like to just de-support the rest of it, and then Oracle, or terminate the rest of it. Then Oracle is going to go in and say that, well, we gave you this very, very high discount on the basis that you would buy and maintain 100 licenses. So since you're now just killing off that original agreement, we're going to reset your contract. And that's what repricing is all about. It's about repricing your support so it matches a deal if it was made originally with only 30 licenses instead of the 100 that you bought. So they are sort of turning back the clock, and that structure becomes that problem that you can't really make any substantial savings, especially if you've received a high discount on your Oracle software, which is often the case. So here we have, and you can go through that. Here we have sort of an example where you get a 50% discount, and it's as a rule of thumb, 50% discount is very, very, if you're already in that range, it's very seldom that it makes any business case to actually remove licenses and support. Another problem we see when we talk about Oracle support is managing, because Oracle is transactional. They tie up your support agreements with the different ordering documents, the different products you purchase over the years. So often what you see is that there can be tens, 20s, hundreds of different support contracts. And that can be very difficult to administrate. And Oracle themselves often will be sort of trying to get you to put that into one support contract, or line them up so they can be handled at the same time in one go, without having them sort of dripping in during the months. They want to make this easy, and this is also what you can do. So consolidate them into one invoice and have them aligned. So this doesn't mean that you can't terminate. So even though that you do this and you have all your support agreements aligned, and you pay them off once a year instead of over the year, it doesn't mean that your support agreement gets tied together. You still have different contracts, separate contracts in the background, separate contracts that are not linked to all the other contracts. And that's actually how Oracle is thinking about your contracts as separate entities. So if you would end up eliminating a particular contract, if it's contract number 3, that termination will not affect contract number 4, 5, or 6, or 7. It will be a standalone contract, and it will be regarded as a standalone contract. However, if they were combined on the same contract, you will have this repricing problem that we've just been talking about. And this is also why it sometimes become, and we can talk about that, it sometimes become very sort of interesting to go in and look at different license assignments and license migrations, because you can basically divide up, make new contracts throughout that process. Now, clearly, I've heard this out that people has advised not to do this type of consolidation. They think that everything gets tied together. No, that's not what's going on. It's separate contracts, and you can clearly prove that they are completely individual and independent contracts. So they're not going to be fused into one in any standard agreements. So that's can be a benefit for you to just make sure that everything is renewed at once. So here we have sort of a little a situation. So when is a good contract better than a bad one?